Una vez más, sean ustedes bienvenidos a este segmento de Hablemos de Cine. Mi nombre es Jorge Elias. Muchas gracias por seguirnos, por estar con nosotros en estos 36 años de vida. Y gracias a Roku y a TV Universe por permitirnos llegar a todos ustedes semana a semana con los adelantos de las películas de estreno. Hablando de eso, tenemos una película muy interesante. Es una de esas películas que es un poquito de drama, de terror, de misterio, que no se sabe si viene para acá o para allá. Se llama Cellar Door, o sea, la puerta de la bodega. Bien fácil. Una puerta en una bodega, en una mansión. Quédense con nosotros. Antes quiero hablarles de una colección de libros infantiles con título Sofía the Great. Las aventuras de una pequeña, Sofía, que se sueña princesa y su amistad con un enorme puma llamado Roberto Gato, Bobcat. Las aventuras de Sofía the Great. Para todos ustedes que están buscando un regalo especial para las fiestas que se acercan, para un cumpleaños, para algún regalito muy especial para sus niños, sus amigos. Sofía the Great. Vean.
Sofía the Great, las aventuras de una pequeña princesa del reinado de Encino y sus aventuras con Roberto Gato, un enorme mountain lion que conoció en los bosques de su castillo. Y a pesar de que Sofía solo habla inglés y Roberto Gato solo habla español, se entendieron desde el primer momento y formaron una hermosa amistad. Comparta con sus más pequeños los viajes imaginarios de estos dos amigos. Sofía the Great and Her Adventures with Roberto Gato, una colección bilingüe que hará el deleite de grandes y chicos.
Usted puede encontrar Sofía the Great entrando en www.sofiathegreat.com. Les aseguro que sus hijos pasarán horas entretenidos leyendo las aventuras de la pequeña Sofía, de su amigo Roberto Gato, y van a aprender de a poquito cómo se dicen en inglés y en español las palabras comunes, palabras que nosotros usamos todos los días en nuestra casa. Sofía the Great. Muy bien, vamos a la primera y única película de hoy en día en Hablemos de Cine. Cellar Door, la puerta de la bodega. ¿Qué será? ¿Por qué será que nosotros tenemos una atracción especial con las puertas, especialmente en una casa que no conocemos? ¿Cuántas veces usted ha ido de visita a algún lado, de un amigo, por primera vez, pide permiso para pasar al sanitario, al baño, y empieza a ver puertas y se pregunta, ¿qué habrá detrás de esas puertas? ¿Quién habrá detrás de esas puertas? Bueno, esta película se trata precisamente de una puerta en una bodega, en una mansión. ¿Cómo hace esta pareja donde todos queremos tener una casa, un hogar, algo que sentimos solamente nuestro? Buscan, no les da el presupuesto y se encuentran con una mansión enorme, un personaje, en el actor Lawrence Fishburne, que se enamora de esta pareja y dice, yo les voy a cumplir el sueño de ustedes de tener una casa perfecta. ¿Les gustaría esta mansión? Yo estoy tratando de alejarme de mi pasado y de mi pasado en esta casa, y como tengo dinero suficiente, les quiero cumplir a ustedes el sueño de una casa propia. La casa pasa a ser de ustedes. Extraño, ¿verdad? Solo una condición. Hay una puerta en la bodega que ustedes no pueden abrir.
We are going to find the perfect house and live the life of our dreams.
I'm gonna recommend you speak to a friend of mine. If there's anybody who can help you, it's Emmett Claymore.
Hey, honey, I got a great idea. Let's go visit the dude with the big scary house out in the middle of nowhere. What could possibly go wrong?
So glad you decided to come.
John.
John.
This is my wife, Sarah.
Lovely to meet you.
It's really perfect.
What if this house were yours?
Sorry, I don't follow.
Let's forget the financial facts for a moment, and just for the sake of argument, can a house make you happy? Dear John and Sarah, it's clear you seek a new beginning, and I'd like to help. This house represents a past I wish to leave behind. I'd like to give the house to you, with one simple condition. You must never open the cellar door.
He's giving us this house for free.
It doesn't make any sense.
But this is what we've always wanted. We can be really happy here.
This place is incredible.
Oh, thank you.
You ever find out what was in the cellar?
Life is good. I don't need to look.
I think you want to look. I think you can't help yourself.
You must be the new neighbor. I hope you guys stick around.
We're not the first people he's done this to.
We could lose everything. Do you really want that?
25 years ago, Emmett Claymore's wife and daughter just disappeared.
This is the life we always dreamed of.
All for the low, low cost of your soul.
There's something in this house. We can't stay here. We gotta get out.
The house.
It has its secrets.
Ever since we moved into the house, everything has gone to shit.
I'm trying to protect you.
Looking into a missing persons report? All you had to do was just stay away.
No, John!
Enough!
You know what they say about old houses? They all have their deep, dark secrets.
Hablamos con el director y la actriz principal de esta película, Jordana Brewster. Vean nuestra conversación con el director de Cellar Door, Vaughn Stein.
Ava Peron, and it's called The Rest is History, the podcast, and it goes into really amazing detail about the sort of the last 150 years of Argentinian history. It was so fascinating. I learned like so much. It was amazing.
It is.
Like the British influence, the Italian influence, the German influence. It was amazing.
But it's funny, until now, the saying goes, the more things change, the more they remain the same in Argentina.
Yeah.
But still. Anyway, a pleasure meeting you.
Wonderful to meet you, sir.
The name of what we do is called Let's Talk Movies, Hablemos de Cine. So let's talk movies. Very young age, for the past 18 years, you've been very productive, very busy as an assistant director all over the place, big projects, small projects, big names involved. Do you find today, where you're sitting right now, with all your experience and all the major celebrities, actors, movie stars that you have been working with, does it make it any easier for you with your ability to write, produce, direct, to sell a script, to have a movie approved, a project made?
Yes, definitely. For me, it was an apprenticeship. I fell in love with film later than a lot of people did. I came up through theater, and I fell in love with film when I was maybe 16, 17. And my career, my education was tailored theatrically, and I realized I had no idea how to make films. So I couldn't afford to go to film school, and I sort of manufactured an opportunity to become what we call a runner, a production assistant. And I got, I made a lot of tea. I made a lot of coffee for a couple of years, and I got very lucky. Some people I fell in with, they went off to work on some incredible Warner Brothers films and Disney films, and the British industry had been in a bit of a recession and was beginning to pick up. So I had the incredible opportunity to work at all sorts of different budget levels, all sorts of price points, from, you know, micro budget indies to tent poles and everything in between. And for me, like, I pride myself on being truly production friendly. Like, I say to people, to crew a lot, like, I'm not asking you to do anything I haven't done myself. If I'm asking you to do it, trust me, I've done it. Like, you know, and I think there is so much that there is not enough recognition that being on set, watching these world-class technicians do what they do, being around them, you suck it up, it soaks into you, you know. And I've had the privilege of working with some unbelievable directors, and to be an assistant director, to watch the way they interact with cast, to watch how they give notes, to watch how they interact with visual effects and special effects, and sometimes departments that they don't know much about, and the way they listen, the way they ask questions, the way they hear the answers, really hear the answers. That's been a massive formative, like, part of how I approach being a director. And I think in terms of writing, which is something I love and something I do a lot, and I've been privileged to have directed something I've written. I have something coming up that I've written, I'll direct. Knowing what production limitations are, understanding budget, understanding price point, understanding stuff you can't afford, and finding a way to figure it out, like, that's invaluable to me.
Very good, thank you. Of all these directors that you have the chance to work with, what kind of director they made you? What kind of director, for instance, to see Lawrence Fishburne pretty much giving credibility to a story, what kind of director are you? Also coming from being an actor.
For me, like, I've worked with directors before when I was an assistant director, and sometimes I felt they were intimidated by actors. I felt that they were worried about giving them their ideas, giving their notes. And for me, having been an actor, I trained as an actor and then I trained as a director in theater. Like, you are so receptive to whatever information, whatever notes a director can give you, even if they're not great notes, like, to have that conversation, to open that channel, that's what drives character, that's what drives performance. It enhances it, it builds it. And sometimes it can be rough. It's not always an easy process. Sometimes you've got to have those arguments that are born of passion, of doing the very, very best you possibly can for the movie. And that's where great stuff comes from. You have one idea, the actor has another idea, you find a better idea, you know. That was a big thing for me. And I've been really privileged. A couple of directors I worked with, John Crowley, who's unbelievable, Bill Condon, who's immeasurably brilliant as well. They are so receptive to actors. Actors love working with them. They love being on set with them. It's a warm place to be. And look, you know, sometimes it's not going to be like that. You've got to move quick, and you've got to be precise and fast, and days are short, and money is expensive, and you've got to make sure that you are able to give your ideas clearly to the actor. Like, make sure that they can understand what it is you're doing. And I do also think a lot of that comes from rehearsal. I love to rehearse, like that. I get as much rehearsal time as I can. And I think making those mistakes and doing that work in the rehearsal room, when you come to set, you are pin sharp, and it leaves room on set for those bubbles of inspiration to come up, because you're not trying to find it on the day. You found it, and now you're just looking, sometimes amazing things. You know, the blocking might change, the delivery might change, and you have room to do that when you've rehearsed.
Speaking of the cellar door, I say that there is no more intriguing thing for a human being to approach a door with a sign that says "Do not open." I mean, that changes the whole thing. Immediately, your inner self start working with the pros and cons and the what ifs. And what I like about this movie, that eventually, I don't know if it's that important what is behind that door or underneath in this case, but the process, the self-judgment, the confessions, the self-confessions that each character goes through, pretty much. Was that the idea from the beginning, to have this door as a confrontation with your own feelings, with your own inner selves?
Yes, I think when I remember first reading the script and thinking I need to play this cool. Like I know I'm going to say yes to the script. I was like 15 pages in. I was like, this is brilliant. I love elegant simplicity in scripts, in movies. Like when you have that central through line that an audience can grab onto and you can take them on that journey, they buy a ticket for the roller coaster, right? Like that's what elegant simplicity gives. And Cellar Door it's the Faustian bargain, right? It's a dark fairy tale about what if. Like, what would you do if someone offered you everything you want in life? The house of your dreams, the future of your dreams, the family of your dreams, everything. But it will just cost you one thing. And that is a I mean, that's a tale as old as time. That is a story. It's a biblical story. It's the Garden of Eden. It's the snake in the garden, right? Adam and Eve. And I think the thing is, for me, like it's done in such a contemporary way that the way it poses that question, I found that a really like a very evocative combination, and it really hooked me. Yeah, I think it is that combination of like that folkloric fairy tale with the contemporary thriller. I think it was beautifully written, and it made me want to direct it.
I thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much. A pleasure.
Not at all. Thank you so much.
Jordana Brewster es el nombre de esta actriz, una actriz que nació en Panamá, pero su mamá brasilera, ella vivió en Brasil hasta los 10 años, después su papá, por su trabajo, hizo conocer a Jordana a todo el mundo, entró en una telenovela, después es la actriz famosa que hemos visto en la serie de Fast and the Furious, la hemos visto en las 27 películas que hacen. ¡Mía! Bueno, de cualquier forma, Jordana Brewster es la madre, la esposa de esta película que quiere ser madre y quiere tener su casa propia, digamos. Vean. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Gracias. Obrigado.
Obrigada a você.
10 years old, when you left Brazil, what's your memories of Brazil? What you bring from Brazil still today?
My memories of Brazil was like how much fun it was to go to school and then go home and jump in the pool, or on weekends go to Angra dos Reis, where you just got to go to like all these different islands. And I remember the warmth, and I miss that a lot, because then it was a very different from New York.
Fine in New York, and you start with a soap opera. Was your first entry into the business type of thing? Jump from one soap to the next. And funny, in life, you end up with another soap opera that you've been together for more than 10 years, The Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
What is it every time that you get the call and says, oh, we have another one?
Oh, well, that I'm so excited every time we're starting up again, because it's like, what iteration of it is it going to be? Who's the director going to be? What location is it going to be? There's nothing better than seeing fans that love the franchise. I was just recently working in New Zealand on a film, and everyone recognized me as Mia. You're Mia, you're Mia. And it's just it's really cool to have worked on something that resonates with so many people, and that is such a big part of the culture. I'm very, I don't take that lightly. So I really love to be a part of it.
Were you close to your parents, to your mom, a famous model in Brazil, and your father that took you all over the world pretty much?
Yeah, very. I still am. They live in LA. I see them almost every week. Brazilian mothers are very unique. They're very, like, everyone's in each other's business. So I had to be like, Mom, let's chill out a little bit on that. But yes, we're very close as a family.
Yeah, I'm from Argentina myself, neighbors with Brazil. So pretty much I understand what you're saying about mothers.
Yeah, my parents lived in Argentina for a while. And I remember my mom was so upset that all the restaurants open at 8. She's like, I cannot wait that late. I have to eat at 6. I was like,
people take a nap and then they go to dinner.
That sounds perfect to me.
Strange, very strange. Let's jump into the cellar door. Are you a curious person to begin with? If you see a door that it says do not open, do you have to open that door?
You know, that happens with I recently stayed in an Airbnb where there was one door that was locked and they said, please do not open that. And I started imagining, oh my gosh, I think the landlord is there. Like, I hope there's a bathroom there too. Like, what does she or he have food? It started to drive me crazy. So I think I would have to know. I would open the door with someone with me to feel safe, but I would definitely have to open it eventually. I couldn't just live with it.
When you read the script of this movie, very scary movie from the get-go because of the unknown, because you don't know what's going to happen, what is behind that door per se. Did you immediately saw the possibility of playing both characters, this lady trying to find a home, trying to find finally motherhood, and then what you became at the end of the movie?
I don't think there's a big contrast. I think the same drive goes into both parts. I think the drive to solidify your family, get to a place where you're happy, you know, I think it's also a nice analogy for people that think like, oh, once I have the picket fence and the perfect house, then I'll be happy. It's like she's so single-minded about that she doesn't consider, wait, is this right or wrong? I think a lot of women will relate to that. And I think clearly it goes to an extreme, but I think it's the same drive throughout. And I was very excited to play with that.
Encuentren esta película, Cellar Door, de Lionsgate. Hablemos de Cine, la recomienda. Gracias por estar con nosotros. Nos vemos una vez más, como siempre, en Roku, a través de TV Universe, donde nos encuentre, en YouTube, en Facebook, como siempre, y una vez más, semanalmente, trayéndoles los estrenos de Hollywood y algunos chimentitos, algunas entrevistas con los actores y directores de la misma. Mi nombre es Jorge Elias y los invito para la próxima con Hablemos de Cine.